and out the way of the lenses. Right, I'm going to show you how to do some gluing. So, obviously some of you are having a bit of trouble removing glue, so I'm going to show you how to do it using one of these, which is a spinning glue remover. Most Chinese suppliers have these. Alright, so you need one of those. You'll need 2 clean room wipes, don't necessarily have to be clean. Alright. You also need some plastic. Now, that sort of plastic, the floppy plastic which you get on the front of the screens, is fine. What you need to do is you need to cut 2 strips. Alright, very thin. This will protect the top and bottom. Because if you're like me and you use the original adhesives when you've taken the glass off, you want to be protecting them from the WD-40 later. But also the bottom one for an S8 will protect the flex as well. So you don't really want chemicals getting into the flex if you can help it. So get a strip of that as well and just pop it to the plastic. There's a bit of broken glass there, I'll just fetch that out. Alright. If you do get a separation and there's glass left over, don't be tempted to remove it in the freezer if it's really tiny. Just wait till you get to the hot plate stage, because it will just slide off basically. Alright. So you put top and bottom, bit of plastic just to protect the Samsung adhesive. Alright. Got something in the middle there. I think that's just like a circular like label or something. I don't know how that got there, but we'll get rid of that. Again, very, very carefully. If you stab these screens, you'll either end up with a mark or it just won't work at all. So I'm just getting a bit of alcohol just to soften that out. Alright, so that I can just lift it off. I don't know what that is or how it got there, but just peeling it off. Alright, I don't know what it is in fact. Probably just got there when I stored it. Right, so on your top half, which is not where your flex is, you can use acetone, okay? On the bottom half you can't, because the acetone will eat into the flex and it will damage it. So what I tend to do, I put one cloth around about, a little bit further up, one cloth about there, okay? Second cloth on the top bit. Now the reason why I do this is that I leave one half on there to hold on to. Because it's so sticky, if I took everything off and started removing the glue, if I put my fingers on anything sticky, it really does get stuck, and you have to literally twist your finger off to get it off, and it's a pain in the arse. So, acetone on the bottom, sorry, alcohol on the bottom, alright? Make sure isopropyl alcohol on the bottom, alright? Do not put acetone on that half. Acetone on the rest of it, alright? So you can have about 1 inch of alcohol there and acetone for the rest, because it's quite powerful and you know it's quite good at getting the glue off. Alright, so just leave that there for literally about 30 seconds. While I'm doing that, I'm just going to evacuate the debubbler. It's just an iPhone screen that I'm building for somebody. iPhone 7. There he is. Alright, so OMK6 machines, very, very good at doing both brands, as you see there, look. Alright, no bubbles at all. So, once I've done the video, I'll fix that though. Okay, so that's soaked in a little bit. The reason why I'm using wipes is because it's to stop the liquid getting in underneath the edges here. And if you looked at the original tutorial, it's specified that you shouldn't get anything down the edges because the screen will start to lift up and that will give you quite a little bit of bubbling at the sides. So if you use the cloth will absorb the liquid and soak it into the glue with no problem. So take your top one off first, alright? Now what we've got is an area here where we can de-glue and an area which we can safely hold on to, okay? Now what I do for extra safety as well, so I draw a line there. Reason why I draw that line there is because my fingers must not go below there, because there's that flex underneath, okay? Very easy to stick your finger right through it and you get a dead screen. So if you put a dotted line on there, at least you've got a bit of a safe area, okay? Turn it upside down, put it to the edge of the heat mat. Make sure your flex underneath is folded under that way, not sticking out, alright, under that way so it's flat on the plate, okay? And the first thing I'm going to do, the edges, it's very tempting just to do that. But the problem with doing that is that you'll find that with the direction that the rod is going, you're going to go straight up to the top and ruin the flex. So what you need to do first, we're starting with the end with no flex. Set this to this direction, okay, so that the glue gets rolled off in that direction. So be careful, because if you let that touch too much, because it's going in that direction, you're going to go straight up and it will wreck something, okay? So what I find best thing to do is start on a small surface area. Make sure it's going around the right way. We're starting on the edge. Most control is right next to the spindle, right here. If you go here, it's all flexible and it'll be very difficult to control. So if you go right up against the spindle there and start doing it, can you see I'm not slipping at all, because there's barely any of the rod in contact with the screen. Okay, so if you get those edges done first, what will happen is it'll just basically open up the rest of the screen for you to do. Make sure the screen's nice and warm. I've got this hot plate set at 90 degrees. Okay, I daren't go higher because I use all sorts of AMOLEDs on here and I don't want to be breaking any because of obviously high temperature. So 90 is a nice safe bet. So I've nibbled a little bit of a strip of glue off there now. It's about a centimetre. Alright, keep it at the edge, lots of control. Okay, as you move along, just nibbles away. Alright, get rid of the glue as you go as well, because once the glue gets on there, it's useless, it won't do the job. It has to be bare metal. Alright, so that edge is done, all the glue's gone. For the other edge, move over to the other side of the plate, okay? Again, something to hold on to there without getting stuck to the screen. Now for control on this side, obviously I've got the whole length of the metal rod there. I don't want to lose control, so I'm going to keep that end, my fingers on that end, okay? And what will happen is it will behave the same way, nice and stable. You can even sort of move the rod in to sort of get a bit of clean metal in contact at every time. So all you've got to do is just move along, move the rod in as you go. You can see it collecting on the rod. Alright, we're nibbling more and more glue off. It ain't attacking the adhesive we've got up here because I've put a bit of plastic on. If you don't put that plastic on there, what commonly happens is as you get to the top here, it starts to take the adhesive off. And it does it bloody quick as well, so obviously be careful. A little bit more acetone on there for the middle. Alright, it's a bit dry. So just very, very carefully, avoiding the edges. Alright, soak a little more glue in there. Okay, give it some time to do its thing. As you can notice, you need patience. You need to go sort of in from the edges, and then what you'll find is it'll start cutting big chunks out of the glue, and you'll be able to then do the other bits. All right, so now it's getting, all the chunks are getting bigger now. All right, clean metal against it at all times. Get rid of the old. All right, as I do this now, it's coming off in bigger and bigger chunks. All right, you can see that. So the amount of glue that's coming off is gradually getting higher. All right, so just nibbling away at it. Being careful not to lose control, because you don't want it doing that all the way up to that end, because all of that, the adhesive, the cloth, it'll all twist up into the rod, and you'll obviously run a risk of ruining the flex. All right, so alright, it will come, you just got to be patient. It's a bit of a long process, if I'm honest, and a bit frustrating, but just keep on at it, and it literally just, look, there we go, look, it's rolling huge chunks of glue off now, look. See? Get some clean metal on there. See there? It's taken all of that off now. The longer you leave it, the bigger the chunks are, because of the chemicals. The chemicals have all soaked in, and obviously some of it's a bit difficult to get rid of, but there we go, look, all the top's off now. Alright, top's completely gone with glue now. Well, what would be the top of the handset. So what we'll do now, we'll move it to this way round. Okay, because we've got a full clear bit now there at the top. So we can now sort of move our way downwards. Alright, there's a nice clean screen there for me to hold on to now. It's not covered in glue. And see, now I can work down the middle safely. Hold on to the top. Clean metal, like I said, full control. Alright, as it builds up, as the glue builds up on the rod, get rid of it, because it's only going to slow you down. It doesn't do as good a job you think it would do. You need it to be clean metal all the time. Alright, so about a third of the way in now already. Look, it's taken off loads of it now. Alright, about halfway through. It is tempting to leave the glue on there, because you think, oh well, glue's going to pull glue off, right? But it doesn't. It really does need to be removed, like literally every couple of seconds. We'll remove this. If it doesn't come off, don't force it. Sometimes they get stuck quite well to the screen. All you got to do is just pop a bit of alcohol on it, and then it will come straight off. Alright? So we're getting closer to the flex now, so you need to be ready on that control. Alright? You need to firstly make sure that the spindle is going the right way. Alright? When the screen is this way round, the spindle needs to be going so that if you make a mistake, it will go up instead of in towards the flex. Alright? So I've got mine going the right way for the glue removal, okay? Keep going. Alright. At this point, you can actually just do the whole width of the screen now, because it's the chemicals have been on there that long now. It will allow you to do that. It's just nibbling it off the whole width of the screen. Okay. Refresh your metal every few seconds. Now, when you get down to here, you've got to be careful. Completely clean your metal. You want your metal to be real clean for this because you want as much control as you can get. Go right in towards the closest to the spindle as you can get. If you slip here, you could kill the screen because of that orange flex, alright? So, maximum control, alright? You're just nibbling, alright? Just small amounts. Clean metal, alright? And it'll just nibble it off until it's all gone. Alright, we've got about 1 millimetre left of it. You can go a bit diagonal if you want. Just be careful of the bit of plastic that we put on there. Alright. It does get a bit tricky when you get to that last millimetre or so because of access. Alright. But it will come off. You just keep it still, keep it clean, and it will come off. Alright, it will nibble off. And that's gone now. All that glue's gone. Alright, and that little bit of glass is gone now. Alright, the flex has been protected by the plastic. Okay. Next stage, just need to get a bit of WD-40. Straight in the middle. And do this. Again, pay attention to the fact that we're not letting this go down the sides, okay? Now, if you're lucky, the WD-40, you wouldn't have left any big bits, and it will literally complete the clean for you. But you might have missed a couple of bits, which I have here on purpose, because I want to show you how to get rid of those little bits. Alright, if you've missed anything, you let the WD-40 soak for a minute or two. You get a blade, like a plastic razor blade, and as you can see, look, it's coming off. Okay, you must let it soak though, or else it's quite tricky to do. Alright, be careful at the edges, because if you dig in too much, you might kill the touch screen on it. So you just need to let the WD soak in. Alright, and just lightly, I'm barely even pushing here, just lightly eat into it with a plastic razor blade. Alright, a little bit more, just there. Alright, just only spray it in the middle. Alright, the plastic's protecting the adhesive from the WD-40, because obviously if it wasn't protected, it won't stick anything. Alright, so do not press down, just literally barely push down. There's another bit that I've missed with the pole, the rod thing. Alright, circular motion.